Today on Rocket Punch, we have a very special double feature as we take a look if you have the guts to survive a zombie apocalypse with The Walking Dead and The Walking Dead starter set.
Alright guys, today we are going to take a look at The Walking Dead universe role-playing starter set by Free League. This also uses the Year Zero engine, so if you know one Year Zero engine game, you basically know them all. There's a couple variations in each one, like Aliens or the Electric State, things like that. But the basic mechanic is essentially the same. You get the gist. D6 dice pool with pushing mechanics and usually some kind of fear or stress mechanic or something like that. So first, let's take a look what's in the starter set. Now I backed this on Kickstarter because I'm a big zombie fan and I really liked the first couple seasons, although I ended up watching them all. I did it because I really liked Negan and a couple other characters, but yeah, the later ones are not so great. So inside, you have a dice bag, which I've already opened, and you get 2 sets of 10 dice. You get some red for your stress dice, and you get some black for your normal skill dice. On the 6 is a target, and on the stress dice, you get a target and a zombie hand, meaning a zombie is coming after you. You also get, what's handy in here is the threat meter. So it's as the zombie swarm gets larger, you can kind of use this to track. And it goes up to 6, so you could really just use a 6-sided dice, but it's a cool little thing to get. Get these out of here. You get a book of the rules and some other stuff in here. Yes, get it all out. You get a simplified version of the rules. I'm not going to go over the rules because we're going to take a look at the core book. So it's just a stripped down version of that. Everything you really need is in here to play the game. But there's a lot of cool stuff that you'd be missing out of, tables and things like that. There's the wolf dens. It's a little survival mode scenario because, like, if you're familiar with the Alien, you have a cinematic kind of thing, and you also have a survival, so a longer play. So this one, it's pretty cool. It's a nice, like 3-part kind of adventure. Oops, notes. Oopsie. Yeah, so I ran it once with the guys, and they really enjoyed it. It's a fun little short adventure. And then you get some characters that you can play. Whoops, that's not the character you can play. Here are the characters you can play. You get a couple people in here. Different kind of professional things that you could do. And it kind of gives you, it's all filled out. Unfortunately, there's no art on these, but there is like their little story here and a couple secrets and appearance and things like that. You also get, through the stretch goals, we got some of the official characters in here. Not all of them for some weird reason. I've never really used these guys. I use my own characters, but you get Carol, you get Gabriel, Michonne, Glenn, and that is it for some reason. I don't know why you don't get Maggie. Gosh darn it. You also get some maps from the adventure. They're like this big. Sorry, I'm just kind of blasting through this. I want to get to the meat of it in the regular core book. But I just thought, any of you kind of looking at starter sets, what you get. And you get the map of Georgia, which is nice for the core book. So you get West Virginia that you could use. I don't know how to really use this. I mean, it would be good if you had at the table, I guess, but I play on Discord. But it'd be kind of cool to use that. You could hand this out to your players and kind of you could track their little journey through the land, I guess. So you get Northeast Georgia and you also get West Virginia, Southwest Virginia on the other side. So all in all, it's a great starter box. Sorry I didn't really go over too much, just showing you what's in there. So you get the maps. You get the special characters, you get a short version of the rules, and a little scenario. But I guess the best thing about this, if you weren't sure, dice. Really, dice are the real reason to get this, and I'm going to use these in a little bit because dice are expensive, and usually you can get that for the price of the box. Like if you just got the dice, it's usually like, I know for aliens, like just one set of dice, like just the regular dice versus the stress dice, they're like $20 each. So that's like $40. You could just buy the $40-ish starter box and get all that stuff in it. So really, if you're and you really want the dice and the scenario and some other stuff, this is totally worth it. Even if you're gonna get the core book because it has all that other stuff in it. So yeah, check it out. Now let's go take a look at the core book. Okay, this is the core book. It's got some different art on it and a little bit of cool stuff on the back. So one thing I do want to kind of remind everyone, even though I think you've seen this before, The Walking Dead Universe, AMSC, role-playing game core rules by Free League. It's a huge title. If you're not really a fan of The Walking Dead, that's fine because there's barely anything in here about it. To me, it's just a really good zombie game. It's really quick, easy to pick up, and fighting zombies is cool in here because you're not really fighting them. They're almost like a environmental aspect, and you come across them, and you get to roll on cool tables when you come up against zombies to see what kind of terrible things happen to you. So yeah, let's take a quick look. You get the maps. These are just the one map. This is the Northeast Georgia map that was in the starter set. Index, your contents, got a little introduction. If you know The Walking Dead, I'm not gonna read this. You got the nice intro as he goes into Georgia. I love that part. First seasons are really good. 1 through 3 are really good. What is role playing? What's the game master do? Safety tools, blah, 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 blah. The World of the Dead. So if you've never seen this show for some reason, go watch it, at least the first couple seasons. So I'm not going to go into that. It just talks about the outbreak, talks about living in a world where you are, what is The Walking Dead? Can I play as Rick? You could, but really make your own character. There's really no reason to. It talks about just different ways of playing the game, threat levels, how to use the dice. But let's kind of skip that and go kind of right into it. Talks about pushing and stress, how to roll dice, So we can kind of skip some of that intro that is not, really needed. So the World of the Dead. So what happened? When is it now? So, you could make this really any time period. It doesn't really matter. It talks about the walkers, the transmission. So basically everyone's infected with the spoilers. Everyone is infected with the virus. So, you don't have to be bitten to become a zombie. Like if you just die, you could raise up as a zombie. It also talks about the people. So in this game, and just like in the show, it really stops becoming about killing zombies, and it's really about how humans would react in this apocalypse. And really you're fighting those kind of rivals and things like that and trying to survive in this world. And then all in the meantime, you just have these zombies in the background that are just almost an environmental force against you. So the player characters, this is where you kind of really start. So you're going to choose an aspect or an archetype. But you could really make your own. So some of the archetypes in here, and we can kind of skip a tad bit through here to go to pictures of it because it makes more sense. You got a criminal, a doctor type, a farmer type, a homemaker type, a kid, a law enforcer, a nobody, an outcast, a politician, a preacher, a scientist, a soldier, and that's it. And they're just kind of like starter packs, really, than what you have to do. So you can kind of make your character whatever you really see fit in anything. Could be a bus driver, you could be a stockbroker, anything. These are just kind of give you some ideas, and it also might help you with making your own archetype, what you should kind of aim for. So yeah, it's nothing like set in stone. It's not like a character class or anything. And it kind of talks to you how to make your own if you wanted to. Make a name. What's your issue? So that's a main thing in this game is everyone has like drives and issue. So what is like your secret issue or something going on? So it's all about kind of making this human drama, which is really fun in the game. So I think there gives you a whole bunch of things like you can also change the issue you're having, and you have drives. So what is your kind of goal to make? And these issues and drives come up to kind of affect your stress levels. You can have some scars. Then your characteristics. So you have your strength, agility, wits, and empathy. So those are your main stats, and then you have a skill under that. So you'll always roll one plus the other. So you have like a dice pool. I might have, 3 in strength, and then I might want combat. So then I'm going to have another couple dice in combat. So maybe I have a dice pool of 5. So 3 for my strength and 2 for close combat. I roll those. Oh, wow. I got 3 successes. That's really cool. So 2 and 3 you ignore. All the 6s you get are a success. All I need is 1 success. So if I, like in this version, I got 2 or 3 total successes. So maybe I do it faster or some other beneficial thing kind of comes up. So that's basically it for that. You get some talents, which kind of add a +2 or something to your dice pool in a certain situation. And then you have health points, because this is not what's called health points, but it's really wounds. So you start with 3, which is unharmed. You go to bruised, battered, and broken. So you can't really, if you were a doctor, if you're bruised, you can't really heal anyone to unharmed. When you heal, it's from the broken state. So when you're bruised and battered, you're still fully functional as well as you were unharmed. It's not until you're broken that you fall and being broken at 0 is not the same as HP of 0. So you'll get scars and things like that, or stress. So then you get stress and anchors. So your anchor is basically someone in here. So basically like Glenn, Maggie is his anchor. So after I get back from a zombie encounter and my stress is sky high, well, if I shag with Maggie, I'm going to reduce my stress. That kind of thing that you can do with anchors. Or maybe it's like your kid. So the governor and his weird zombie kid, spoilers, he can go and comb her weird hair, and maybe he reduces his stress. You can gain new anchors. Like if one anchor is dead, you can eventually regain an anchor. But when that anchor does die, then you get these breaking points. So you become overwhelmed. So it kind of gives you some things. If an anchor is killed or disappeared, turns against you, you are broken by damage. You've have some point during the session accumulated 5 stress or more. This is different from health broken. You get to a breaking point. You get overwhelmed. Something you built or struggled hard to achieve, it gets destroyed. Rick knows that very well. So when that happens, you get overwhelmed. So you might lose your drive. You become shattered, or your issue might change, or you gain a new one, like going nuts. So when you're shattered, you might start going insane. You talk to dead people, see dead people, want to die, emotionally shut off, paranoid. Then you get your gear and your experience. Your experience, you don't have experience points for killing zombies. It's just like for participating, doing certain things and tasks, or just like GM Fiat. Maybe like that was really awesome. You did a lot of this cool RP. I'm going to give you like 1 extra point for your XP. So relationships. So there's all these NPCs in your group because you're probably going to die. So it really recommends that you kind of go out in this group. So you have NPC survivors that should be kind of traveling in the background with you. They don't really do stuff, but they could maybe add a +1 to something. If you have a mechanic and you're trying to do something, maybe he helps you and gives you a +1 to your roll. But it's recommended that you basically have quite a large team to go with you in case you die. You can just quickly grab a survivor, just like the show. Could be like 10 people go out. You need a whole bunch of red shirts. Either they die first or you die first, and you take those over. So there's a nice D6, 6d6 table to kind of assemble your team plus whoever players you have. Now in here you also get a haven, so that's really fun. It gives you some starting ideas. So you could have a bus on a hill, a factory, or a villa, just like in the show. It has like a capacity, a defense, and issues. So that's really fun. So it's like, as a GM, like, what am I going to do? Well, there's like some things that could go on with the haven. You need fresh water or something. So those will be kind of adventure sparks for you to kind of go out and do those things. And then we have the archetypes, which we already went over. And then it talks about the different skills and talents. I already kind of showed you how to roll the die. You're going to take your skill roll. You got, say, 3 in strength, 2 close combat. I roll that again. I got nothing. So when you got nothing, you can push your roll. But when I already have 1s. So 1s don't make me fail. I just don't succeed. But if I push and I have 1s, I can roll everything that's not a 6 or a 1. If I roll again, I got a success. But now I have, 3 stress. So my stress went up, but I succeeded. Now, I'm going to gain stress from that. When I start gaining stress, I'm going to have stress die. Just like the alien game. And I can roll these. And if this comes up a 6, right there, it's the same. There's nothing wrong with rolling your stress die and getting a success. So there's 2 successes actually. Or if I didn't have any regular successes and I just have these stress successes, I still get a success. Now you could kind of role play it where like through this stress, I get a success. So I'm kind of panicked or somehow through my panic, I'm able to succeed or something like that. The only time you have to worry about getting something bad happening is when I have a walker symbol. So actually, yes. Yeah, these ones don't count. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, that doesn't matter. 1s on here do not matter. It's not like the other game I'm thinking about. So just that matters. So I'm going to get stressed differently, which are going to build up my dice. So these 1s don't matter. Only the 1s on the walker. My mistake. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. I know it. Too many games. I play too many games. The streams start crossing. So yeah, you're going to just build up stress. So pushing a roll, you build up stress. Not getting enough food and water. Being attacked by walkers. Being shot at. Being framed for murder. Being bitten. Yeah. Yeah, this one works a little bit different. Every time you push, you gain 1 stress. Yeah, the 1 doesn't matter. Yeah, they have the custom die, but you can roll everything. 6 normal D6s, that's what that's talking about. So what happens when you mess up? When you mess up, you alert the swarm by making noise, fail to notice some walkers, offend someone, hurt yourself, whatever. So you can kind of figure out how to narrate when you get stress, things like that. You basically mess up when you get stress. Extra successes, what you can do with that. Helping each other, parallel actions. Went too far. How to do opposed rolls. So if you're combat, it's just whoever gets the most successes. Goes through all the skills, which we don't need to go over. It goes through the talents, and it kind of splits them up by the archetypes. But really, if you don't want to use the archetype system, you can just kind of make whatever and kind of pick whatever one kind of makes sense for that character with the GM approval. That's a cool picture. They got some meat on there. Combat and healing, I kind of went over that. You know, if you get cover, you get some bonuses. If you have some body armor, you get some bonuses. You're just going to roll your d6s. It's pretty straightforward if you've done any system like that. So armor, here it has armor level. So I get a 4. So that means I roll 4 dice. And if anything as a success, there you go. I got 1 success. So that cancels out 1 success from the opposing team that's firing at me. So if they fire and get 2 successes, then I've knocked 1 down. So I only take 1 unit of damage. So that unit of damage depends on what the damage rating for that weapon is. Then it talks about critical injuries. So when you are broken, you roll on the critical injury chart, which is fun, d6. It tells you if it's lethal or not, and a time limit of how long it'll take, any penalties associated, and how many hours, days, weeks, etc. will it take to heal. And then it talks about when you're trying to stabilize people once they're broken, some hazards, how to relieve stress, explosions, fire damage. Yes, basically explosive weapons. It could do anything. So like Molotov cocktail does 6. So blast power just means you roll 6 d6s, and all successes, 6s, do damage. Disease, traps, falling, some gear, how many slots, some basic weapons. I mean, all you need is this little chart. You can kind of make up your own once you, I mean, it's basically, 1, 2, or 3 damage. So each success, if I get 1 success, then a rifle does 2 damage. So that takes me all the way to wounded. So I'll almost be broken. So you really don't want to go into combat too much in here. It can get pretty harrowing very quickly. Has some vehicles. So if you find a vehicle, it has this nice chart of the condition it's in and the fuel and what to do without a fuel. Get some vehicle types, crashing. You can do ramming into another. And then it goes into fighting the dead. So there's a swarm size in here, and that's that nice little dial I showed you. You can kind of keep track with this, or a D6, on how big the swarm size is. So a 1, it's like a 5 or 10, up to 6 could be thousands or so. And then there's that's the threat level. So the threat level kind of goes up. So whenever you mess up, if you have a 1 to start with, this area is, just a couple zombies milling here and there. But if you mess up, now it's 2. Now you've made noise and some more zombies are slowly sneaking in. And that's kind of cool. You can also hide this from your players. So you're like, oh, you made some noise. Oh, yeah, it's totally fine. Meanwhile, you're like slowly over here raising the threat meter. So maybe when they went into the building, there's like 2 or 3 zombies milling about. When they start to leave the building after getting their supplies, there's like hundreds of zombies. And then that's a whole fun little thing. And it kind of tells you, 1, there's a couple walking around, they haven't noticed you. Up to 6, the dead are in your face, surrounding you. So avoiding walkers, like a 1 or a 2, you can basically kind of walk past them essentially. But as it gets up, once it's up to 3, then you really have to use your, either try to combat them somehow or run away or something. Because when you're in combat, you'll go into what's called a single walker combat, and you basically face off against one. And if you're not able to succeed, then you're going to roll in this walker attack chart, because the walkers don't really have, they don't roll for combat. Just like if you mess up, the GM gets to have fun and roll this beautiful, beautiful walker attack chart, 66. And it can go from, oh, I just saw a little boo-boo here, to like your face is eaten off. So it's really fun to roll this, which makes me want to roll right now. Let's do a black and a red. So if I lose and I'm trying to dodge past this zombie and I fail, the zombie automatically hits me, and it's going to do 333. Yeah, somehow you kill it and hit yourself at the same time. Take your own weapon's damage. Ouch. But you managed to get through. Another one, 54. Uh-oh, this is going to be bad. You are bitten in the stomach. The wound is not that deep, but soon you will get a fever, and within D6 days you will be dead. That's it. There's no healing. You're just going to be dead. Goodbye. So I love that. It's kind of like Alien. You just get to roll on this cool chart, and it's always fun to just figure out, as opposed to like say Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, or you fight a zombie. The zombie attacks you and does D6 damage. It attacks you again. It does D6 damage. It does like tons of weird stuff is gonna happen to you. Who knows? It's so much fun to roll on those. It talks about you can amputate yourself. So if there's a part that becomes bitten, you can amputate it to try to survive. That's really cool. Talks about what to do. So once it is 3, 4, 5, or 6, the skills you can do, you can either endure, force, mobility, range attack. But as it gets to 6, you can only force your way through or close combat. So that's fun. So you get clearing out the area. And then home away from home, this is your haven. Talks about your nice capacity, the defense of it, overrunning it by zombies. Haven issues 6d6 table. Not enough clothes, mattresses, and blankets. No tools to repair anything. Extreme cold in the winter. Lots of cool stuff like that. Issues and projects you can be on. It has a couple, but you could make your own, really. You don't need these, but this is kind of a nice little stimulation to your imagination, enough of some things that you could work on. Building gear in your, so you can make your own little pipe bombs and stuff, repairing clothes, rifles. So other havens, old schoolhouse, apartment, the mall, which is totally where I would want to hang out. Going on runs, so there's also vehicle movement, rations, hunting for stuff, and then running the game. So there's the GM portion, just what to do with issues, the area map, what kind of campaign you want to run, characters and relationships. So who's making decisions? Who's the group leader? What's the group dynamic? What's going on in the haven? What are other NPC factions and other human areas around you? What are they doing? And then you can kind of make a faction. So it's you can make the size, the leadership, the needs, the type, assets, issues of that faction, what haven they have that you might want to go invade and get. They give you they give you a couple. The Black Hearts, Sugar Hill as a location, some secret issues. They give you a whole bunch of good stuff. Other locations, where the swarms are at, you can kind of roll on. How to set up the scene, and then a whole bunch of challenges. So some random events that could be happening. What to do when you're traveling through. You get some weather events. What kind of ruins are around the area. So, oh, look at that. I just skimmed on that. A battle tank, in fact. It functions but has no ammunition. A walker is inside. Or several walkers chained to a pole like dogs with leads. Elementary school, small walkers. Ooh, freaky. What's going on in the wilderness. Some encounters you can have. And these are all NPC encounters that you can have kind of traveling in the wilderness or wherever. How the NPCs react. So this game has a ton of tables, which you could really use in anything, any kind of modern, or really you could address it however. Gives you some more GM tips, what to do when they mess up, how to narrate that. NPCs from the TV franchise. No, we don't need those. Make your own stuff. Survival mode scenarios. And it kind of has this campaign setup, so you can kind of go throughout Georgia. It kind of sets you up with some factions, some swarms and locations, and some goals to have. And then it has just like a starter quick scenario to kind of just start in media res. You can just have the golden ambulance. It's just like a parking garage. And then the lovely, lovely appendix. This thing is amazing. What kind of walker is it? Roll on this table. So you're not just saying walker, another walker, another walker. You can be like, what kind of walker is it? 44, a janitor with 52, one hand missing. Or you could roll on it, get 54 on this one, a postman with 43, arrow through the throat. So with these 266 tables, you can make each zombie completely different and interesting to your players. Then for rooms, okay, that was weird. Friendly kittens. Okay, that's cool. So just flavor for different rooms as you're exploring. Another 66 table. This has so many 66 tables. Random locations. So you got a hospital filled with walkers, but a group of survivors has been there. So it's, or you could go down here, a school, young children hiding on top of floor, or water tower. So you can kind of rotate these as you wish. So it's, I think there's a 6d6 as well. Yes. Wait. Yes. 6d6 for the type of building, and then what's kind of happening. They kind of give you some themed items in that location, or I think you can also kind of mix and match these if you wanted to within reason, I think. But these kind of flow on the theme of the main point. Some non-player characters and how to build those, their features, some issues, secret issues, skills, gear, scavenging tables, so all kinds of cool things. Pickled eggs, pickled jalapenos, jar with baby food. This is a D666. Oh yeah. Air balloon, knife, rain clothes, bottle of lighter fluid, cheese, one ration. You know, all kinds of stuff. And Free League, thank you very much. I haven't tried solo yet, but it's cool to have in here. I think solo is kind of gaining in steam. Yeah, group play is the best, of course. We all know that. But solo is fun too. It's kind of a good way to kind of learn the rules, kind of playing by yourself. But it has some other oracles and stuff. So even if you're not playing solo, I think it has a lot of really interesting ways to make a game with all the tables, plus the oracles, plus these rumors, issues, and challenges in the solo game. Opposing roles, solo combats, the end of the road, and the player sheet. So it just has some stuff, has your attributes and skills, strength, agility, wits, and then each of the skills that are under that, your health, some gear, weapons. Straightforward. You got your kind of like survival for the game master. You can kind of have what's going on, write some of the survivors down here so you can keep track of what they are. And then here's some issues, rumors, challenges. It's kind of a nice, I think this is really for solo, but you can also use it as a GM sheet to keep track of what's going on. And then other travel log and things like that. And an index. Thank you, Free League, for always making an index. We love you. And now it's time for the bonus. If you stayed till the end, you get free bonus content. It's the after credits scene. Yes, the game master, the GM screen. So it has your close combat weapons, ranged combat weapons, swarm attack, overrun, animals, threat levels, messing up, D6, your swarm size. You get your walker attack table, which is nice. And then your walker past, your walker wounds, vehicle damage, crashing an NPC. So it's a really good screen. It has pretty much everything you want on it. I don't think there's anything you don't want on this one. It's pretty good. I really like it. And the art on the back is really cool. Very evocative. I love that. The dude with the axe. Oh, yeah. Very nice. So, yeah, thanks for sticking around. We hope you enjoy the game. We hope you enjoy this wacky channel and my antics. So I really appreciate it.